I start the game off with a command tower. Jayson plays an escape tunnel and taps it to find a plains, and Jacob plays an island for the turn. On my turn, I play a plains and tap 2 for Coust, Eyes of the Glade. On Jayson's turn, he plays a mountain and taps 2 for a Seal of Cleansing. On Jacob's turn, he plays his Dimmer Aqueduct to return his island and discards his Drowned Yard Temple due to hand size. On my turn, I play a Zoetic Cavern, and then I cast a Morph creature and I hit Jayson for 2 commander. Jayson plays a Rogue's Passage for turn, and then he pays 3 for his Orzhov Advocist. Jacob plays an island, taps his Aqueduct for a Talisman of Dominance, and passes the turn. I draw for the turn, and I go straight into combat and swing my Morph creature at Jacob. Then I tap Coust to turn my Corrosive Cloudscraper face up. Jacob takes 13 and I draw a card from Coust. And then I play a tap Sheltered Thicket for turn and I pay 3 for another Morph creature. On Jayson's turn, he taps all his mana to play Nelly Borka and then passes. Jacob evokes his Shriekmaw to destroy my Cloudscraper, and then he taps 3 for Mirko, Obsessive Theorist. On my turn, I draw, and again I go straight into combat. I swing my Morph creature at Jayson. Jayson decides to block with Nelly Borka, and in response I tap Coust to turn over the Corrosive Colossus. Nelly goes back to the command zone, and I pay 3 to cast another Morph creature. Jayson untaps, and we all take the counters from the Advocist. Jayson pays 2 for the Tome of Legends and immediately uses its counter to draw a card. On Jake's turn, he taps all his mana for a Dream Eater. Jacob returns Coust to my hand and surveils 3. Mirko gets a counter from the surveil. Jake swings Mirko at me. On his end phase, Mirko triggers and he returns Shriekmaw with a finality counter and kills my Corrosive Colossus. I untap and draw for the turn. I pay 2 to cast Coust from my hand. And I pass it over to Jayson. On Jayson's turn, he plays a Smuggler's Share. On Jacob's turn, he casts Dim Your Signet. And then pays 3 for Phyrexian Arena. Jacob swings Mirko at me. I cast Path to Exile on it. Draw for the turn. And I go to combat and swing my Morph creature at Jacob. Jacob blocks with his Dream Meter, and I tap Kaus to flip up a Chroma, Angel of Fury. Jake takes 3. And I draw a card, and I play Gruul Turf. And tap the planes I returned. I use the 1 floating and tap 3 for Sereth Viper's Fang. At the end of the turn, Jayson draws a card from his Smuggler's Share. On Jayson's turn, he casts an Arcane Signet. He pays 3 for Feather Radiant Arbiter. Jacob's turn. Jacob draws 2 cards and loses a life. Jacob pays 7 for Overseer of the Damned. And destroys a Chroma. He then swings his Shriek Maw at me. On my turn, I play a tap Temple of Triumph and scry 1. I tap 5 for a Whisperwood Elemental. Jacob pays 1 to cast Brainstorm, and Jayson will draw at the end of my end phase. I go to the end phase, and Whisperwood Elemental manifests the top of my deck. On Jayson's upkeep, Jayson and Jacob take the counters from the Advocist. Jayson pays 2 for Mind Stone, and then uses it to cast Ransom Note. Jayson then surveils 1. Jayson pays 2 to sacrifice the Ransom Note and draw a card. Jayson goes to combat and swings Feather at me. Jacob draws 2 and loses a life from his Phyrexian Arena. Jacob then pays 2 for Copycatchers, and then pays 3 for a Necromancy and targets the Kroos and Colossus. Jacob casts Mirko. And then he attacks me with Shriek Maw and Overseer of the Damned, dealing me 10 damage. For my turn, I cast a Morph creature and manifest the top card of my library. On Jayson's upkeep, Jacob and Jayson take the counters from the Advocist. Jayson casts Curse of Opulence targeting Jacob. Jayson goes to combat and swings Feather at Jacob. Jacob blocks with his Copycatchers and On Jacob's turn, he cast Ever-Flowing Chalice, multi-kicked 5 times. With 3 of his 5 mana, he returns Drown Yard Temple from his graveyard to his hand. On Jacob's end phase, he returns Copycatchers with the Finality counter on it. I draw for the turn, and I cycle Scattered Groves. At the end of my turn, I manifest the top of my library. On Jayson's upkeep, we all take the counters from the Advocist. Jayson swings Feather at me. I declare no blocks, and then I turn Nantuko Vigilante, and I destroy Jayson's Smuggler's Share. I'm taken out of the game by Feather. At the end of Jayson's turn, he sacrifices his Seal of Cleansing and destroys Jacob's Ever-Flowing Chalice. On Jake's turn, he casts Amphan Mutineer, exiling Feather and making a Salamander Warrior. At Jacob's instep, Mirko triggers and he brings back his Dream Eater. He surveils 3 and returns the Advocist back to Jayson's hand. On Jayson's turn, he casts Winds of Wrath and recasts the Orzhov Advocist. On Jacob's upkeep, he surveils and draws a card. Jacob casts Deep Analysis. And then he casts Case of Shifting Visage, Sinister Starfish return. Jayson puts 2 counters on his Orzhov Advocist, casts Soul Ring, followed up by a Sun Titan. Sun Titan brings back Feather, and Jayson swings 3 with the Advocist. Jacob surveils 3 times before drawing his 2 cards. Jacob pays 9 to cast Rise of the Dark Realms. With all creatures brought back to Jacob, he starts assigning his triggers. Jacob destroys the Advocist with the Overseer of the Damned. He exiles Feather with the Amphan Mutineer. He surveils Animated the Dead with Lazav the Multifarious, and then he casts it with Eye of Duskmantle. He reanimates the Advocist in Jayson's grave. Jacob then casts Mirko and passes to Jayson. Jayson pays 4 to make Sun Titan unblockable, and then he pays 4 to give it double strike and swing for game. I want to thank everyone that left a like and watched the video today. Your support means a lot, and I want to continue to put out more content. And I want to say thank you to Jacob and Jayson who helped me film the game.